الأمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه الطيبين الطاهرين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, today we have recited from Surah Al-Baqarah ayat 273 to 281. And this part of the surah is dedicated to three topics. The first topic is about nafaqah. Again, it's a completion of the part before it, spending in the path of Allah and the intention behind spending in the path of Allah, and who are those people who deserve to receive the sadaqah, the donation, the charity. And the second part is about riba, which is one of the most controversial topics in the Quran and also in the modern discussion, modern time, because people have different views and different opinions, even though the Quran was very clear about it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it crystal clear in the Quran, and also Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself made it also crystal clear when he was giving his last sermon, last khutbah before he departs from this world, subhanallah. And the third topic about ad-dayn, giving people, helping people with money, and how is it possible to work out your financial situation in this regard. So very rich topics, and I cannot do justice to any of them, but just give you some glimpse about each one of them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala confirms that whatever sadaqah we give, it's for ourselves. فَلِأَنفُسِكُمْ وَمَا تُنْفِقُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَلِأَنفُسِكُمْ. Whatever you give, it actually splashes back to you. It goes back to you. You're not actually doing anyone any favor. That has to be very clear for any donors. For any donor, whatever you give, it is actually for your own benefit. Is not doing a favor to anyone, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already guaranteed for people to be provided, to be sustained. So it's not from you, it's others. When you see some people like throwing some food to the birds, that I feed the birds. Who told you? Who gave you this responsibility to feed the birds of the sky? It's not your job. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take good care of them. You see, but Allah put under your responsibility certain people that you have to feed them, and you have to clothe them, and you have to look after them, and if you have anything surplus, it has to go to certain people. This is how the trust of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how to fulfill the trust of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has given to you. Allah repeatedly says, وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَلِأَنفُسِكُمْ. And Allah also says, وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ يُوَفَّ إِلَيْكُمْ. It's again, is not just going to benefit you, but it will be given back to you in full. In full, all what you can think of, you will receive it back. Allah's not going to take you, okay, I will give it back to you, but minus taxes and, charges and, whatever administration fees that we have to deduct from that. No. Allah will give back in full. يُوَفَّ إِلَيْكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ لَا تُظْلَمُونَ. Allah is in no interest at all to take anything from you. Rather, Allah will give you more and more. Subhanallah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again says, those people who deserve are those people who don't ask. Some people, professional claimers, they just go around and they ask the people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you look for those people who, hidden behind the scene, and you don't know anything about them. Subhanallah, لا يسألون الناس إلحافا. They don't go and urge the people to take from them their monies. No. But they just keep quiet and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to go and find about those people. And of course, the circle of people that we can find about them is the circle of our family. You're not expected to know what is happening in other people's families, because it's very hard to find out. You need to do investigation, invasive investigation. But who are those people that you know the best? Your family. And you can easily reach them and find about them. So the charity starts at home, as Rasulullah ﷺ said, and then it goes wider and wider and wider. So you expand the circle to go to your family, extended family, and then your community, and then outside your community, right? If there is a case of an emergency, like what is happening in Gaza, for example, this is a case of emergency. Then a big slice of what you have to do has to go to them. Why? because it's a case of emergency. Now people are starving. You have to target them, subhanallah. People in Gaza, people in Sudan. So it's kind of shared responsibility between the poor people in my community, in my family, and the rich people also, that we all have to sacrifice something to save the life of those people. This is how it works. Rasulullah sallallahu in the khutbah of Hajjat al-Wada', he brought his uncle Al-Abbas ibn Abd al-Muttalib. Al-Abbas ibn Abd al-Muttalib, before being a Muslim, he was practicing riba. What was that? He was a rich man. He used to give the people money, lend the people money, and after some time, a fixed term, receive the money back, but with extra. So he give the people 100, and after 1 month or 2 months, get it back again 120. And that was riba. This is how his money is guaranteed to grow. No loss, no expected loss. Because in the contract, if you fail to give me my money back, I will take your house, I will take even your children to sell them slaves, or take you yourself and sell you as a slave to get my money back. So there is no loss at all. So Rasulullah stood, in front of hundreds of thousands of people almost, and he said, no more riba anymore. It's completely haram, forbidden. And the first riba contract that I'm gonna cancel is the riba contract of my uncle. I put it under my feet. No more. Whoever owes money to my uncle, give him back the principal only. Don't give him back any interest. Subhanallah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that those people who circulate, trade in riba and usury, are actually infected by the shaitan. They just like shaitan, devilish, because they become so greedy and they have no end, subhanallah, no satisfaction. They want more and more and more. Who own these institutions that control the riba system economy in the world? The most rich person, the richest person in the world, people in the world, they have tons and tons and tons of wealth. But they still need more and more and more. They never feel sympathy to anyone and say, okay, fine, I'm not going to do it again. I have enough now. I will just do it, peacefully or normally. But they never do that. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, for those people who try to excuse themselves or justify it for themselves, they say, it's business, it's a trade, it's a sale and purchase. إِنَّمَا الْبَيْعُ مِثْلُ الرِّبَى. They said, بَيْع مِثْلُ الرِّبَى, selling and lending or whatever you call it, riba. It's all the same. It's nothing. It's just buy and sell, and this is buy and sell. But here you buy and sell. But here you buy and sell money. That's what is the riba. You take money and you give it back money. So that is why it's not sale. Any kind of sale, you give money and you take back an item. It's not the money itself. But in the matter of lending, in the matter of loans, you give money, you take money, or you give it back money. That is the difference. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إنما البيع وليس البيع كالربا. ذلك بأنهم قالوا إنما البيع مثل الربا وأحل الله البيع وحرم الربا. Allah make the bay', the deals, the business, the sale and purchase halal. وحرم الربا, and He made the riba haram. The last ayah I have recited, I'll finish with that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ. Take note of that. This is ayah number 281. This is the last ayah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed from the Quran. The last ayah. And it makes a lot of sense. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, be careful, be aware of the day that you're going to return back to Allah, and Allah will question you about everything you have done. So just take note of that and be ready for that. And Allah, finished the discussion about money matters by this ayah, the last ayah, as just like a recapping, just to let us know that the most sensitive issue in our life is the money matter. And whatever we deal with, whatever we transaction, whatever, is extremely sensitive. And it has to be always in mind, because one day we're going to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, وَيُسْأَلْ عَنْ مَالِهِ. 2 questions will be asked about the money. Where did you get it from? And how do you spend it? مِنْ أَيْنَ اكْتَسَبَهُ وَفِيمَا أَنْفَقَهُ. How did you earn your money? And how did you spend your money? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of us to pass from this dunya straight away to the Jannah. Allahumma ameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the best of this dunya and the dunya to come. Allahumma ameen.